Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to our Wednesday global talk. As we know, spring, whatever March comes in as a lion and leaves as a lamb, I think is what they say. And we're in the get to the lamb area right now. Oh, sure. So hang in there, because we're almost there. I want to start with the territorial acknowledgement. I wish to recognize the respect the Tongan and Sandwich peoples with whom the Esquimalt peoples with whom traditional territories we stand at the University of Victoria, and with whom we have a responsibility to recognize and respect as guests to these lands. We have a shared colonial history with Bolivia, and this is how we recognize in Canada the Indigenous peoples. This territory, the University of Victoria stands. I'm curious actually here how you do this in Bolivia, if you have such a territorial acknowledgement.
Yeah, we don't have this custom.
Yeah.
But I feel it's very, very nice to recognize the territory of indigenous people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, thank
I
you,
think
Roxana.
it's a best practice.
Yeah, I'm also curious because you just came from Ottawa, so I know that in the West Coast for a bit ahead of the rest of the country. On these acknowledgements, to know how they do it now in Ottawa, but
Yeah, a winter Ottawa.
Winter Ottawa.
That was my first experience.
Yeah.
Ellos tienen esto en Ottawa.
Yeah. Sí, es que en Quebec no tienen, está entrando.
Yeah, and it's pretty new in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's compared.
Okay, well, thank you. So without further ado, I wish to welcome Roxana Dulón Gonzalez here to the University of Victoria and the Center for Global Studies. Roxana is a Bolivian researcher and practitioner specializing in gender empowerment and territorial development. She holds a PhD from the Utrecht University and collaborates with the Latin American and Canadian institutions. I think the Netherlands is well known for having a strong Latin American studies center.
Exactly,
Yeah.
CETLA.
Exactly. She co-leads the Fish for Life Empowerment and Sustainability Project, developing culturally grounded methodologies that combine quantitative methods with analytical reflection to examine how empowerment transforms power relations in rural contexts. She is also a collaborator on a Global Affairs Canada funded gender and aquaculture project in Bolivia. This is along with CFGS alumni and faculty member Laura, who is here with us today as well. So Roxana is presenting to us Beyond the Metrics of Empowerment. Her presentation is going to be around 40 minutes, followed by a Q&A. And I'm hoping today that we'll have some time at the end also for just a kind of an informal moment too, where people can come individually and engage with Roxana as well. And our community members can have a little bit of time to get together as well, because we don't always often have each other in each other's space without running out the door. So that's the program for today. And my understanding is you'd like to sit down and do your presentation there.
Yeah.
We will need this.
Oh yeah.
We also have people online. Leah will be the moderator, making sure that if there's any Q&A questions, and I'll be here in case you're looking for any words.
Thank you.
Gracias.
So good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm feeling so good to be again at UVic. 2 years and a half ago, maybe. I was here for another talk, and I feel so exciting to be here again. So I am Roxana from Bolivia, and I am also the birthday girl today.
Oh,
so excited to be here in this special day. I mean, how many people have the opportunity to be in another country with really good friends? Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Sean, for making it possible. Thanks, Rachel, to see you. And it's a special day. So you have the opportunity to be really kind with me, okay?
No hard questions.
Yeah, please. So the presentation, it will be about measuring empowerment and how with our project we go behind the metrics of empowerment. This is an experience that we did in Bolivia. So maybe I want to, it's okay. A few slides for context of Bolivia and the project. We work with maybe 12 or 15 years in the last years, working in a program, in a project, the development fish farming in Bolivia. All this project has the support of Canadian government. So the project has maybe three phases. We start with a research of how about the possibility of make fish farming and fish in tropical areas in Bolivia. This was the first phase. And the second phase was something for scaling up the fishing and fish farming in a tropical area in Bolivia. This is a sector that has a lot of protagonists of women working in fish farming. And you can see the different logos in this slide about government of Canada and different kind of local institution that helps and works with the project. The third phase was about two interesting and very controversial concepts, empowerment and sustainability. The third phase, we have the challenge to work in this side. Before we working in food security, for example, and improve the production and improve the income for the people. And in the third phase, our outcomes we are looking for an impact in especially in empowerment and sustainability, because the activity was so huge now, and it's important to think in concepts like this. We work with the support of Canada, but also with the support of Brazil. Brazil has a lot of experience in fishing and fish farming, so the cooperation was something like a triangulation of development, not only north-south, but south-south too. You can see the Bolivian map. Oh, thank you, Shelby. You can see the map of Bolivia, and we work in the center. The center in 10 municipalities are very tropical space. So we work here, and this is the institution that work in the third phase. Some pictures about the fish farming in Bolivia, and I think that some important thing is that Bolivia is landlocked country. So the fish farming is not in the sea. The people has their own ponds in their land, not in agriculture space, but they made a ponds for fish farming. It's not a sea farming. And with the project, with all of these three phases, the fish farming growing a lot. We have a lot of results, very impressionant results. So, for example, the number of families that works in fish farming now is so big. When we start, maybe 500 families are involved in fish farming, but now almost 6,000, 7,000 family is in this activity. The time process that the people needs for have a fish for sale becoming 12 months to 8 months. So it's important reduce time for cost for the activity. The consume of fish in Bolivia increase. It's not high, but when we start almost 2.5 kilograms per year was the consumption for each person per capita, and now is just doubling. So the people is start consumption the fish in Bolivia. So something just for context and for I want to understand that you understand that this is the context where the research about empowerment was taken. And another beautiful. So this is this in this picture you can see how the ponds are and the protagonism of women in this activity is so numbers of how is fish farming growing. Important to say that investment of Bolivia government is growing all the time in this sector. And maybe for this region, for this tropical region of Bolivia, the fish farming is now one of the 4 or 5 really important activities for the livelihoods.
Roxanne, may I ask you a question? Are these are all artificial ponds that are being created?
Yeah, Thank you. Yeah, so it's not in the river, it's not in we don't have sea, but it's an own constructed ponds.
Yeah.
So you can see here, this is how it looks in an overview looks. So they have a different ponds. The regular size is maybe 15 meters for 100. So you have this space, and the people put the fishes in this kind of. And the ponds are very near to the house. So like naturally the women take a special role in this kind of work. And the project works not only in productive process, but have an value chain approach. So the project works too in transformation, in selling, in marketing. So the different capabilities are developed in all the process, not only production, but the whole story, finish at this sale. And when we start, so is maybe a large history of our project. We start with research, and the last stage was about empowerment and sustainability. And gender approach have a different approach of gender between start the project was only transversalization of gender in all the activities, but at the end of the project, when the concept are empowerment, the gender focus is like a center of the project. So we start to think more about social things, about social power relationships, and the role of women and the role of men, and who takes the decision. So gender will be a central for our project. And I love the picture of this woman. So it's the imagine maybe for empowerment, it's like like that. So our project goes step by step, taking a different approach of gender. So it's so important for us to have this approach now. And now I want to tell you about a concept of monitoring and planning. When you have the ultimate outcome of you are looking for a big impact in empowerment, so you have to measure the empowerment. Thinking in monitoring and planning, okay, how if you are looking for increase the income, you have to measure income. So if we have, if we're looking for impact in empowerment, we need to measure too. We thinking in both indicators, qualitative indicator and quantitative indicator. Thinking in quantitative indicator, we take note about an international index, global index, developed by Institution for Policy of Food Security in agriculture way. And the index, the name of the index is Women Empowerment Agriculture Index. So this is a global index that you can use for measuring empowerment. So we take this index in a different ways. There are a very complex index that measure all different things, but you have the possibility to take another maybe adjustment of this index, and we use the pro-WEAI. Pro is for project, so you can use this index in a level of project. So we choose this level for make a measuring, and taking this option for measuring empowerment. This is the principal indicators of pro-WEAI. So the index needs to measure in the power with, the power to, and the power the inner power, the power for others, and the power with. And the variables maybe is some like this: income autonomy, self-efficacy, attitude about intimate partner violence, or for power two is participation in product decision and things like that. So we have in the project, we have the opportunity to apply this index. We have enough data for how to measuring in this way. And we have an index for showing. So this is a level of empowerment when we start the project, and we can have the opportunity to measure again at the end of the project. But we're thinking about if it is correct to use this methodology just for measuring. And the question was, are we measuring what really empowerment means for women in this context, for this area? What are we measuring? What is the meaning of empowerment for the people, for the local people? So we put the stops in measuring in global index, and start again thinking in the real meaning of empowerment for people. And another concern, another preoccupation for us is about the importance of measuring empowerment, but for developed empowerment. So we want to have one tool, one methodology for both aspects, for measuring, but also for developed empowerment for the people. So it's not a tool for monitoring, it's a tool. We need a tool. We want to have a tool for developed improvement for people. So yeah, okay. Our methodology shifts recovering the local concept, and we ask many women and also men what empowerment is meaning for each person. And that's what was really powerful processing to talk with the different people that work with the project. And what about empowerment? What do you think about empowerment? And the people make some drafts like this, and put in what is important for each person, for the empowerment of each person. So the after a lot of interviews and take time for understand what people understand for empowerment, we have a systematization, a lot of ideas in these 10 areas. So for people, it was so important to thinking in that empowerment is something sorry, about ability to make decisions, economic aspect. Entrepreneurial was a really interesting because we are working in an economic project. So the attitude of for entrepreneurs and for take another economic risk was so important for the people. Obviously, high self-esteem, having knowledge and information, leadership, and I'm so surprised about this level, having principles and values. So this is so nice how people understand empowerment. So it's not something like just power. It's about principle. It's about values. Commitment with seeking equality was another important concept that the people say. Resilience and having support. So the I and the team was very curious because in this criteria there are not only personal issues. There are a lot of relational things like I don't know. It means that empowerment is not only for a person; it's a relational concept. So this was really nice to understand about leadership, about principles and values, about seeking equality, and about having support. So a person that is empowerment is a person that helps another and have support for the life, for the own life. Um, one important thing of our methodology was to have a simple words for maybe difficult concept or abstract concept. What the reasoning means, or what about principle and values, and we take the words of the people for make questions about, for example, what is resilience? And the question is, do you feel that you are a person capable of overcoming difficult situations? So anybody can understand a question like that. Or for leadership, do you think that when you interview in a conflict and give your opinion, you have to resolve the problem? So the questions are very simple, very concrete, and every person understand what he can value in herself. Support nervous. Do people around you join to you for support? So it was really clear for the question that then we use in a survey for measuring empowerment. And the survey seems something like this. For example, this is a part of what about values and principle, and empathy and responsibility and resilience are some values that the people taking having in their minds when talk about empowerment. So the question was, what about if you are an empathetic person, can you put yourself in other people's shoes? So the people can choose not only yes or no answer. The people can choose different levels between black or white. So all the possibilities, making enough 5 possibilities is like a Likert scale, and you have the option to respond just I don't know. Are you a responsible person? I don't know. What's an option? That was an option. And you have the possibility to put yourself auto valuation in in this survey. So I want to explain the key moment when measurement becomes a reflection. So I said before that we want a tool that not only measure empowerment, but a tool for develop empowerment. So when people fill the survey, there are a different result. So maybe the person has an underestimation of the empowerment of their own empowerment, or overestimation, or maybe a coincidence. So I want to take time for share with you very beautiful stories about that. And so we start asking any person something like, if empowerment is some index that go between 0 and 100%, how is your empowerment level? What do you think about you? Whatever you understand for empowerment. So what's the first question? Not tell me about your own empowerment. And the people respond with one level. 8%, 40%, 100% is just at the first question. And when I have the question, I ask for fill the survey and have another result, not very objective, but more objective than the first question. So when you compare the results, was really, you have the opportunity to reflect with this. So I asked one woman, maybe 14, 45 years old. She is a single mother, and I asked her, what about your level? What do you think about your own level of empowerment? And she said something like maybe 40 of 100. And I said, okay, can you please fill the survey? And she takes the survey and starts to fill this and fill this. And at the end, the result was 93%. So her eyes are just, what? And yeah, because when we look at the survey, and she recognized that she is a single mother, that she takes all the decision, that she is the person that maintains all the family, that she has their own income, that she is a really leadership, not in a legal form, but she is very important for the group of the community. So everything changes. When the end at the end of the day, I saw this woman. Her name is Griselda, and she has a different performance. She's happy. Her eyes are brilliant, and just for take note about, I'm thinking that I'm not an empowered woman, but you are, and you recognize that. So this is so important for underestimation. And we have like this story, a lot of stories that maybe women think that they are lost empowerment, that they are really. Another option that is that you have a more level that you really are. So this story is about one man that I asked, what do you think about your level of empowerment? And the man said to me, 100%. Of course, 100%. And I asked again, okay, can you please fill this survey? And the result was not very different, but maybe 86%, not 100. And he said, oh God. And when we review the interview, and we think about, for example, the commitment for equality, what he do in violent situation, what about the leadership in a different logical that he was thinking, was another kind of reflection. He said something, okay, I have to I have to work in myself. And the question for me was, what can I read? Where can I find another recourse for be more empowerment in this kind of empowerment? And the other situation is like the first question, and when you fill the survey, the result is just the same. And I have a story with one woman, one change maker woman, we said, and I asked her about her level of empowerment, and she said something 100%. And I said, oh, okay, can you please fill the survey? And I'm waiting a different result. And the result was 100%. And I just look at her, and she stayed by my view. Yes, I am 100%. So this is a special moment, personal moment, when you have the opportunity to compare what do you think, and maybe after filling the survey. So in this moment, the tool change is not only for measuring, but is for development, is for reflection, is for I don't know, reflection that you can have personally. So this is a real good moment for this tool. And we were working too in rigor and applicability, because there are two objectives: to measuring and to take a reflection too. So the general index was developed and trialed, and the project's influence could be measuring, because the project has to work in development power. So I want to show you the general results of these different criteria. We have 10 areas for measuring empowerment, and the average was 82%. So it's a high level, but it's so important to take note about the different criteria that are in. So, for example, the economic independence was the lowest measuring in a global, and the most high was this one, commitment with equality. So this is a great result for our project, because we are working in these sides. And our project was an economic project when we started, but was the more low index. So it's something for reflect about our project, but we are so proud about this result. So the people are 82% is a high level of empowerment, and this is for measuring. Is systematized a lot of all the data. And here you can see another graphic when we have the opportunity to disaggregate data for women and for men. Because another learning is that empowerment is not only a concept for women. It's a concept for men. It's a concept for humanity. It's a very transformative concept. So it's so important that the men realize that empowerment is not like a gender, it's only for women, it's for all people. And you can see, and the colors are different. It's blue for women, and the other color for men. And sorry, this is in Spanish. But in all the criteria, the women in average are more empowerment than that men. So this is a really good result, again, of reflections, because when we talk about empowerment, we think maybe only in economics or leaderships of power. And in this concept, yeah, the men are high, they have so high level of empowerment. But when you rethink what empowerment really means the men have to work a lot of in a different kind of empowerment. What was achieved and what coming next? Yeah, the project end, and we have the opportunity to apply this tool for measuring and for reflection. But we want to go ahead. So we had a tool that measures, that generates reflection, that identify weakness. You know, this is an economic area or a quality, so different areas that you can work. But maybe it's important to suggest new routes for building empowerment. So I remember the question of this man that asked me, can you tell me what can I do for be more empowerment? How what books I can read or what website I can visit. So maybe it's not only to have the results, but to have advisors about what you can do for be a better person. What recommended readings or activities? So what is the next step? So a concrete ideas that we have for evolution of this tool is just the level one is a simple reflection. Yeah, it's not really a simple reflection, but when you finish this survey, you can have a beautiful graphics or something like that, and you can notice where is your weakness and where is your more strong points and more strong capabilities. Maybe the second level is to have a tool with general recommendations. So this is your result, so you can do that. Or maybe we can think in another level, the third level I call, and we are thinking in a digital adaptive instrument, something like an app that you can have online. You can have your personalized results, micro training models, and longitudinal measures. Because it's not only important to measure your empowerment level in one moment. It's important that you can have the opportunity to measure in a different times. And it's not always if you start here, then you are here, then you are here. So it depends. It depends about the circumstance. It depends about the cycle of your life. So maybe it's not a measure for one moment. So it's more a longitudinal methodology, measures that you can do. So our vision is to go ahead from local index to an adaptive platform and the possibility of make longitudinal measures. Maybe it is very ambitious. Maybe it's necessary more to take more care about the methodology, to make more proofs. But this is our vision, and maybe in the photographs you can see the vision at the end of the day as that the women are kind of this, but not only women, humanity, men, women, child. So. And I want to show you this picture is all the team of Fish for Life in English and Peces para la Vida en español. Our meeting is a mixed team with Canadian and Bolivian people, with men and women. And I think just Laura is out of this picture because she can go to Bolivia. This is all our team. So, thank you.
Roxana, it's very inspiring project. I have a few questions, so maybe I could start and then others can join in with some questions. I'm trying to get a sense of the scale of the project that you're looking at. So on one of the slides, it had indicated on the bottom that there were 52 women and 11 men. I'm assuming that's what I think.
Yeah,
And that's so that's the number of people who are taking the survey
yeah.
in general.
Not in general. That was the people that make all the process, the answer, fill the survey, and to have the opportunity to talk. But at the top of the project, maybe 550 persons made the field. But all the process, all the research was with 52 women and 11 men.
Okay, and then so it seems to me that this is, it's quite wonderful because you're taking this tool that you're trying to measure with, and then you're turning it into a sort of a pedagogical tool, right? You're turning it into
Yeah.
a means to actually sort of teach people about what empowerment might mean and what the steps might be.
Yeah.
Is there then leading from that a policy implication? So can you then say, that this tool or this methodology could then be brought into educational systems or? Because it seems to me that the state is not entirely, or the state's not entirely absent from this project because someone has to be funding the ponds, I imagine, and providing the fish food. And so is there a link that you can bring this back to, I imagine it's the state, but maybe it's not the state, maybe it's NGOs, in a policy implication that comes back to the creation of the fish ponds or whoever's financing those initial projects. Yeah,
I think it's a real possibility, and it's a process of back and forward because we learn about the people, what people real empowerment means, and after a systematization, we have a new concept for development, for teaching, for new generation, and for another context. So I think it's a real possibility to work with a policy in a policy aspect.
Yeah.
I got the core of the question.
You did. I guess I'm trying to pack in another question, which is about, well, what is the role? These fish ponds, there was an investment that was made to have the land, create the ponds, and is that this, who's funding that?
They are, the farmers.
The farmers themselves, okay,
We have a explicit focus on not building ponds.
okay,
Because that's a bad approach to development, because then there's no ownership over it, and this has been tried for decades. Los pozos es construyen de ellos,
yeah.
And so we're focused on sort of social outcomes, economic outcomes, market development, skills development, productivity, those kinds of things. A lot of training in that.
Okay, then I guess my question about policy then would be, so it's not like you can go to the state and say, support creating fish ponds because it's leading to this empowerment, like that the empowerment outcomes are feeding back into.
Well, you can
advising the state to continue to.
Yeah, I mean, the state looks at it as a very economic activity, but yeah, we're making case. ¿Tú puedes explicar un poco la historia de las mujeres en la constitución de Bolivia un poco y la empoderamiento de las mujeres en Bolivia?
In Bolivia, our country, my country, are working a lot in gender issues and to make a different relationships, power relationships into economic aspect topics, into economic topics. So for example, we have a law for election issues, for example, that each candidate, if he is a man, the supply is a woman and in a different level. So for law, are a lot of, there are like cupos para mujeres, quotas for women in a political way. So for example, now we had elections three months ago, and now in our parliament the majority are women in this parliament. So it is an important impact for this kind of law, but it's not only important to work in laws. It's important to work in a real world, in a everyday what happened with relationships in everyday. But Bolivia has a real good laws. For example, against violence too, we have a really good law against every kind of violence against women and girls and boys. So I think we had a lot of advance in order to make more equality in gender relations.
Puedes explicar un poco de del sistema local, pero con la mayoría de los hombres y los propios.
Oh yeah, and for associations for fish, the Association of Fish Farming, for example, at the local level, the activities of fish farming are the women are so protagonist. It's so important, for example, for fish farming to every day, twice a day, give the fish food, and this is a work that women make. But in the association level, the men are making all the decision, taking the principal roles, and women even are not the titular associated. So they are in the association because a parent or a husband or a brother is in association, so women are in. And this is one aspect that we work a lot of, taking note that why the women are not titular in the association. And there are simple answer for the people, because if in the family 2 persons are in the same association, maybe it will be 2 codes for be here in the association. But it's there is possible to make women titular in association, and we work in that, showing the people how the women are doing a lot of activities, but this is not so important that women are taking decisions, and not only decision at organizational level, but how the income in the family is going to different things. So this is important. Sean, it's okay.
Sí, sí, pero existe un rol para del índices para cosa política de los gobiernos locales o
Not yet.
hopefully.
Laura and
Is it okay if I circle back to the policy question?
yeah, of
Okay.
course.
So Hannah's project. It has actually, the last phase of the project was funded by the Winners Canada.
Yeah.
Right, under the Feminist International Assistance Policy, so it was heavily shaped by that, and the grant was heavily shaped by that lens.
Yeah.
So part of developing an index like this is that there's always reporting that has to go back, right, to GAP. And typically, Canada, World Bank, those very narrow indicators. And so this is also an attempt to broaden that discussion. So if there's policy influence, it may be going to the funders, not necessarily the state.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
We got into some big arguments with them actually, because
We did have to make arguments.
yeah, because the problem is that the FIAP exists, so that the policy
Much
exists.
longer.
Not well, yeah, exactly. But the policy's there, but then the actual actions by the government
Yeah.
do not align with the
Yeah.
policy. So it's empowerment's important. We understand it's multidimensional. We understand that that it's difficult to measure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now we would like you to count the number of women at the meetings,
Yeah.
and that is an indication of. And you're like, well, you
That's
just,
empowerment.
and that's to them empowerment.
That's
Because those, well,
yeah.
because the 2 groups don't talk to each other,
Yeah.
right? So there's the policy level, but then there's the actual reporting structures and
Yeah.
monitoring
Yeah.
systems and so on. And those people haven't caught up with Because they want numbers that they give to a minister who
Yeah,
goes to a meeting, who says X number of people did X, you know.
And are therefore empowered.
And are therefore we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, forget it.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, thanks.
Thank you so much, Roxana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really buy into the idea. I find it a striking aspiration, not only just develop the empowerment tool, but to develop the people. Yeah. My question may be related to what Cynthia talked about. First, to me, it's kind of create an institution like empowering the people to take actions to gain the authority. You talk about the methodological evolution. I find it really important, but how about the impact evolution? So my interpretation is that you develop a tool and then you teach them to develop them, empower the people. But how about in the long-term run? What are the mechanisms to make it work to keep things on the right track over time, not just a one-shot thing, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And the second point, maybe a related point, is as a researcher, what is your role in the field? You take the insider role or an outsider role, and why does it matter? Thank you.
Yeah, okay, wow. I want to, I need a traduction
Yeah.
for the core of the question.
Existen dos preguntas.
Dos, yeah.
Yeah, primero es, sorry, can you give me the gist of it?
Okay, you go ahead.
Sí, que vas a implementar este proyecto a duración más larga. Entonces, por ejemplo, tienes este proyecto ahora, pero al final de tu presentación estabas hablando de ese estudio
longitudinal.
Es un poco en esta dirección, ambas preguntas. Y la segunda pregunta es, ¿piensas en tú misma como persona dentro de la comunidad o afuera? ¿Cuál es tu posición con los demás?
Yeah, I will start with the second question, and I feel in the community, because we have the possibility to work together with a lot of association, women, family. So I feel that my own empowerment is development with the women, with the local stage. So I think in mind not like a teacher, not like an external person, but working together and be more stronger, and to have these networks for work with another women. And I learn a lot of their own empowerment. So I feel in. I hope that the women expect that I am in too, and not like external people. Yeah, because it's. I feel that a special feeling when we work together in a community level with another women, that we have special connections, because we are in the same. We are looking the same change at the end of the day. So I feel it. And the another question is that yes, the project ends. But we are still working and looking for another ways, another funds for work in another issues, but taking in our mind ever the concepts like empowerment, like sustainability, like local culture. So it's not matter what kind of project will be in the next stage. We hope we are looking for funds to work in a fish farming too. But the concept of empowerment works in any context, in any project. So I hope to have the opportunity to develop this tool and the discussion and the reflection, because like I said, the empowerment is not only a measure, it's not only for one moment in your life. So it's a concept that you have to work in a different ways. Maybe in some times you need to be more economic independence, but in another you have to think about your empathy with another person. So I hope to work in a long time, and keeping in mind that No, it's not a tool, it's a lifestyle that I want to talk with other people and to achieve that the gender, the empowerment, the relationships between person come more friendly, and so it's a lifestyle. It's for a long time.
Thank you. Great.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Quick one, what was the project's conceptual baseline for empowerment and equality before the process began evolving?
Yeah, Sean, please.
La línea de base del concepto de empoderamiento, como nosotros comenzamos.
We start thinking in empowerment, thanks, John, thinking in empowerment, maybe with a lot of economics conception. So this is, if you are in independence, we want more income and to think about cost, about market, but income and how do your investment, your credit access, things like that. And after we have a broadly conception of empowerment, it's not a synonymous of economic independence. It's only one area. Okay.
Oh, estaba preguntando también.
Sorry, yeah, maybe when we start to think in equality, we are looking for all the activities. All the person has the opportunity to learn about different tasks. In this case, for fish farming, for example. Naturally, I said the women are the person that make food for fish. But if you don't want to do that, it's important that you have the opportunity to don't do that because you are a woman or you are a man. So for our project, the equality vision was to make that every person, it's not matter if you are men or you are women, you have the option to learn about all the process, and you have the option to choose in what task do you want to work more. So it's not because you are man or you are woman, but for our project that was so important for equality, to make all the people that have the options for choose, not for do what the community expect. And we have one interest program for training in an academic level, in a university level, farming. We said technical assistant in fish farming. And we have another program like that, but the persons that get this title normally was men. And in our project, we put like these quotas, and we open this program for 30 people. But our target was at least we need to have 20 women for this particular course, and we can do that. And not only 20, 26 women are in the program, and now they have this title, this academic title, and it's so important in a rural areas that you have this title and the recognize of the university of this study. And these women are working now in a different organizations, like a municipality, government at level municipality, in another organization that are investing about fish farming, and yeah, they have more options for working in this level. So this is how the quality is working in the project. So it's not like equal. We need to make a difference. So this is our concept of equality, diversity for everyone, because the needs and the opportunities are so different.
Matt has much to be.
Sí, compartir todo eso. I'm wondering if you could say more about how you went about localizing your index. You mentioned you had that shift from using this global index to creating this local conception of empowerment, and I guess there's different elements of that. Could you talk about how you came up with that localized definition and measurement?
Ajá. Sean, por favor.
¿Cómo tú la localización de esta idea, de este índice?
La localización.
Sí, como específicamente con el contexto local.
Oh yeah. Thanks for your question. I'm be sure that I get the question for answer. The question was that it's so important to recognize the context where you are working. So we're working in tropical areas with rural women, with agriculture, where agriculture is the principal economy. So we recognize that the local context is so important for understanding any concept. And this concept is so important. Empowerment is a concept that is so maybe it's just a word now, and a lot of people talk about empowerment and maybe losing the real meaning of this concept. So it's so common to talk about empowerment, but when we are talking about the real meaning, the context was so important. And maybe this is one important thing for our tool. Are not the same elements for every context, for every localization. So you need to understand, you need to question the local people. You have to take the local conception of different concepts in this case of empowerment. So the localization, the context, the culture is so important for us. And we're working in the same territory that all the fish farming program we are working with. Yeah, it's good.
Other questions?
I guess on the same train of thought, how long did it take you to, because you described a process by which you realized the index is not contextually specific enough?
Yeah.
And I guess what was the duration of the time before you realized that your index you were going to work with isn't representational of the population you're working with?
Yeah, the program, the last phase, taken 3 years in a little months. So we started to make measuring in this WEAI index, pro-WEAI index, maybe the first year. And we need to take a lot of data for make an index and have the start line for the project. So maybe it was the first year. And the second year, we are looking for another question. So in the middle, maybe in the middle of the project, the second year, we start with this research, with this measure, and we have the first measure at the second year, and we have the opportunity to measure again at the end of the project. So it's not a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the difference was 1 year in 3 or 4 months. But we have the opportunity to measure again. But that is the time. So it's not a long timeline, and it's important for us. For example, we are working now with only 3 groups of women in another project, of fish powder project, and we made the measure again. So 2.5 years after the first medition. And the tool is still working, and the tool still works for reflection, because the people remember, oh, in the past I got a better level. What happened now? Or the other situation that I'm be improving in my self-esteem, and I have a new level of empowerment. But I think we need more timeline for this index, and especially if we want to use like a longitudinal measure, not only in 1 month.
Speaking of longitudinal, I'm just thinking about, because you measured men and women, but my understanding that for a lot of local agriculture is that the youth really want to leave and go to, make money in the big city and do all of that.
Yeah.
Is there any thoughts about measuring the youth engagement? Because it's families, so do they feel empowered? Do they feel like they're looking
Oh, yeah,
at the
yeah.
next generation? Okay.
Yeah, it's a really interesting because I only put the disaggregate by gender,
Right.
but the tools we can disaggregate for age, different age, and we take three different groups. 28 years and less is for young people. 28 to 60 for adults, and 60 plus for third age, we said. And it was so interesting that the empowerment it changed in different stages. The youth people, for example, the problem was economic independence, and so they need to more options for work, for job, and in the local communities and in the other. And fish farming is a good possibility for work for youth people. So we can reflect about what is the opportunity for young people and for their empowerment, because the economic independence is more of the lowest aspect of their empowerment. And for the adults, there are another criteria. For example, the commitment with equality is more or less instant. The economy situation is better. So we have the opportunity to make distinction between age.
I like that because it kind of gives that sort of a snowballing effect, right? So if they see that there's prosperity or even just prestige, or they see some kind of professional trajectory, then they'll want to continue the farms themselves too, right? So
Yeah.
and give back to that community as it's viable, and not just think, oh, I don't want to do that because that's not.
Yeah. And the people I commented about this training course, and all the people are young, and they have a new opportunity for work by themselves, but having assistance for another families for quality water, for feed, and different kinds. So maybe these 30 people, maybe 20, are now in their own communities working in fish farming, in technical assistance, and having a permanent job. So it's nice.
That's great. Thank you.
Go ahead. I was curious about the statistics that you were sharing about the men and women and their perception of empowerment. Something I think a lot of us recognize is that in the shifting sense of self and empowerment between the gender binary, it can cause some resentment. And I'm curious if there was any mitigation or any reaction within the community from men realizing that they weren't as empowered or wanting to be more empowered that was negative, or women and just that dynamic between the two, if that caused anything that needs to be addressed in further work, or if there was something that wasn't mentioned in this around that dynamic between men and women and their sense of empowerment.
Yeah, it was so nice for men. So interesting that men reflects about what real empowerment means. And they said something like, hey, we need help. And I remember something that gender is not a issue to work with women, but with men, and that is the same result of empowerment. So the men needs to change the conception of empowerment. And then realize that it is so necessary. And we have a good anecdotes, for example, for men that are in the leadership, that have a high position, and they realize that they are not really democratics. They don't take the decision consulting every person, and they have a bad habits for make a leader. So we had workshop for leadership, and women in one side and men in another side. It was really nice because the reflection of the men are in another line that women reflects. But it I think it's not was a bad behavior, but they reflect about the how they can be another kind of leadership and another kind of men. So maybe the masculinity was working in starting in another point, but the result was so interesting.
Thank you.
Any last questions? If not, maybe I just ask quickly one. So how important for you are the UN SDGs in this project? Are you measuring what you're doing in relation to the UN SDGs? Or is that a framework that is helping you in your project? Estoy preguntando por ONU y ¿cómo se dice?
Los objetivos,
Yeah,
los objetivos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Desarrollo y sostenibilidad.
that was so important, especially the objective of gender,
Yeah.
of decent work,
Yeah.
and equality. Yeah, we have this framework for the research, because it's so important to take local, but to take global concepts too.
Oh, perfect.
Also tied to SDGs.
Sorry?
At the Feminist International Assistance Policy is also tied to the FG.
Yes, yeah.
So.
You should like look at one, were you and
Sorry?
like institute with the welcome as well.
With the World Bank as well, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Thank you, that was, I think we're gonna end there. That was a great, great note to parts of the local and the global is what we try to do here at the Center for Global Studies. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.